is ready. We got our players good to go, so let's check it out. Dragonshire, game number 2 here. This is the pick of beGenius, so we'll see how they want to approach taking on Synergy and their aggressive tactics.
Taking some of that aggression away at the very beginning. It looks like that ban will persist throughout this series unless something crazy happens. So banning out Tassadar, they know that there is the potential for beGenius to likewise play the same hand that Synergy played in the previous game.
Yeah, and Tassadar just too good of a hero when it comes to fair trades, especially in the laning phase. So getting rid of Tassadar, there's the Ragnaros first pick. We've been seeing this throughout the last couple of days, and it seems like this won't be going away for a while. So first Smash and Q build are just some of the strongest things in the game, it feels like.
Haha, there we go. There's the Dahaka as well as Diablo. So they've got their front line sorted out completely. And I was just speaking before. The power of Dahaka on this map, it is bold and it is big.
And Dahaka fills the question of who goes top lane. He can actually handle top lane very well. In fact, he can win it in most scenarios. So great pickup for Dahaka. And then Diablo gives this team that 4-man rotation between middle and bottom lane that they can go for. They also get hard engaged, which Synergy loves it, man. If they can go hard, they will.
Yep, they will. So at least took Ragnaros off the field for their opposing team, of course. I think actually in Europe, Ragnaros before was 100%. In America, he did lose one of the games. But now, today, he lost his first game. So let's see if beGenius can reclaim the glory in Europe for Ragnaros. Because if they don't, I'm going to have words with them.
The glory he deserves. Watch out. You're going to get a Skype message from the Ragnaros main himself, Galaris. Tychus and Malfurion followed up here for our teams here. Now, Malfurion wasn't in the first game, but now you have Malfurion to help you out. Those rotations keep you up with Innervate and allow you to just keep those pushes going. Malfurion is so valuable, especially on this battleground.
Yeah, it looks like Tychus is just going to be a mainstay on their side as well. It doesn't even have to be Kirova actually playing that. Arakin can also kind of dive into that. He is truly a jack of all trades. He plays a lot of things, but it looks like, well, we know where that's going.
Zeratul was actually banned out in the last attempt from beGenius, so it looks like this is something that Synergize is running a lot. They have Zeratul into Jaina combo that we all know and love and see all the time in Europe. Now they also have the added factor of Diablo's APOC. So now you have a Zeratul into Apocalypse, you have Zeratul into Jaina's Ring of Frost, and you can interchange those as needed.
That's massive control that we're seeing on the side of Team Synergy. So it's not necessarily like a straight, we are going to dive you, we are going to kill you fast. It's a, we are going to absolutely control this team fight. And when our wombo hits, there will be no one left alive. So beGenius has to be very, very careful about where they go next.
All right, let's see what they get for their 4th and 5th hero here. They're going to be needing to pick up a tank. Danotan, obviously, we've seen him on Johanna and Arthas in the past. Both are available here.
Yep.
I think Johanna makes a little bit more sense, especially now that you see Jaina and Zeratul available. And there she is, now picked up. You suddenly get wave clear. You also get the ability to deal with those amazing wombo combos that can happen. You mentioned control, but wombo combos is another thing that Synergy has on their hand.
Yeah, throw Danotan on that Johanna. Li Ming rounds things out. So whilst we did see Kirova on the Tychus last game, I think now we will see him on the Li Ming and Arakin take over that Tychus role, which he is very good at. So let's see how that's going to play out.
All right, so 5th hero here, and Uther.
Ooh.
Are they going Divine Storm?
If they did, I'd be so happy.
Same. Yeah, I look at this and I don't see a Divine Shield target that's needed immediately. There's no one to be diving the back line, so Jaina shouldn't need it if she's positioning correctly. Zeratul could use it to some degree, but I just feel like Divine Storm makes sense in this huge, massive wombo combo potential thing.
It might be a case of they want to be very, Sir Ice Cream might want to be very aggressive with Zeratul, and that might be where the Divine Shield comes into play. I've seen him before being bold with those kinds of plays, so that could be the case here, but we don't get to see Uther much in Europe. This is fantastic.
We haven't seen Uther in forever. What do you guys think? We have Uther being picked. Let us know on Twitter. Use the hashtag HGC, and we'll read them live on air later on. So let's get ready for the game soon, and we'll be jumping into it as our team is loading up. But there you go. There's all the information you need at Heroes Esports, hashtag HGC, and make sure when you tweet us, you let Claris know how much you think he's pretty.
Thank you. Wow. Ginger does well. Ginger does well. Just saying.
I like the solo shot. There he is in all his glory.
Love it.
Perfect.
But one thing that I noticed that last night we actually did see in HGC North America, we saw an Uther, and I was very surprised.
Well, it was June.
True, it was June.
June loves Kerosene.
Yeah.
He loves Uther. He pulls those heroes out all the time.
Yeah. And in the end, they did win Tempo Storm, so that's nice for them. But in Europe, a rare commodity here is Uther. Very, very rare.
So obviously something is planned here for Synergy. We'll see how it unfolds in the next few moments, man. I know I'm excited. Now, I know we're talking about Synergy a lot, so let's be fair and talk about beGenius. What do you think about their draft?
I like it. I think there's comfort picks here. I think it's a comfortable roster for them that they're very used to playing. But they go up against massive Wombo. They're going to have to separate themselves well, which can be a little bit difficult sometimes when you've got Ragnaros at the front line. Tychus isn't exactly the longest ranged long range. That's a horrible sentence. But anyway, so they could find themselves clumping up, and Malfurion thrives in a clumped up situation because that's kind of how his heroics work. They could get caught.
All right, we'll see if they will get caught. Game 2 is now beginning. beGenius taking on Synergy. Synergy up 1-0.
All right, game number 2. beGenius to the left-hand side here. In the blue, Arakim playing Tychus. We have Johanna being played by Danatan. And then moving on, Li Ming will be played by Kirva. We have also Ragnaros by Tank FTW for the win. And finally, Unstable on the Malfurion.
On the far right, we have Synergy in the red. Here they are, looking at Sir Ice Cream up there in the top right as Zeratul. You have Sepka playing the support. He will be showing off those Uther plays. Neon here with the Jaina. And Power of Dream pulling out Diablo. Gonna see how powerful Diablo can be. And there is Sir Ice Cream and all his glory. Hydra is invisible, but he's also playing Dahaka.
I feel sorry for Dahaka. He doesn't have his 2016 BlizzCon mount. Sorry, mate.
Poor guy.
You have no Tiger. I'm sorry, Dahaka, but you're a mobile little chap anyway.
The amazing aggression right away from Power. You see them just diving straight in, even on a Johanna. But let's talk about the keys to victory for Synergy. What do they need to do to score a win here? Be confident, but not over-aggressive. We've talked about it. Make sure that whenever you lose somebody in a fight, you pull off some restraint. You'll pull back and regroup. But stay true to yourself. It's what they do.
Yeah. I mean, whilst we were saying that, you know, there is massive Wombo potential on their side, it's difficult to execute. So utilizing those kind of unique compositions and finding yourself a good spot to actually have that Wombo pay off, everyone needs to be in the right range.
Yeah.
Jaina especially. Ring of Frost needs to be there.
Jaina will be the one that we keep our eye on when these fights do break out. And also something else to talk about when it comes to Synergy is this team has just been known for trying to do unique stuff. In the past, Caldor was telling me about them trying a Gazlo Gravel Bomb filled with a Earthquake from Brawl, right? They tried to mix the two together. And this is before Earthquake even got buffed.
Yeah.
These guys just love to run weird things. If they think they have a chance of winning it, we could see it.
Yep. Let's see then. As Ragnaros is going to be heading off against Dahaka up towards the top. My two favorites right now. I love it. That's brilliant. And kind of how that equals out is Ragnaros has actually got a lot of sustain against it, but Dahaka will use his trait. He will be able to survive in that lane a long time, so they'll need rotations to help out that spot.
Yeah, it's a big tug of war with big heavyweights up there, definitely in that top lane. So we might see Zeratul float up there and try to assist with Dahaka at some point. So again, here we have Zeratul in the middle lane looking at Tychus. Does he get any damage on him? He does come in. Dahaka is looking to maybe come down and get in the fight as well, but sadly was not there in time.
I like your analogy. The solo laners are the heavyweights of Heroes of the Storm.
They are.
Just punching it out, punching it out. The little featherweights come in later on in some weird kind of multi-man MMA style. Like, we'll get him too.
It writes its own drama. It really does. These featherweights trying to get in these big fights, sadly just not throwing enough weight around.
Yeah.
Zeratul back in the top lane here trying to keep Ragnaros off. After a while, Zeratul's just going to run out of steam. Ragnaros will sustain through that if he's poking in, but Diablo in the top lane is going for a gank. Let's run up to it. Power stuns Tank for the win against the wall, brings in the body blocks, and that will be a takedown here for Synergy.
The change in positioning was very key there. The fact that they did have Dahaka elsewhere, Zeratul and Diablo changed that spot, get that rotation. Sepka, though, might end up dying very, very close, and he will go down. That's 1-for-1 currently in this game.
Alright, Uther is forced to just sit here to heal up his Zeratul and go back to be in front. He even healed Minion, getting that value out of his trait. Unstable, though, is actually pushing away the Jaina in the bottom right, and you got to be careful of Jaina there. You're by yourself. You have no idea where Li Ming is at. Li Ming comes to join the fray, but they continue back and forth of who has what shrine will continue here as Dahaka is in the top lane holding it well.
And you can see even the more focus from Team Synergy with the AoE. We have Rending Cleave at level 4, which isn't the most common go-to for Zeratul, but it just means that there'll be that little bit extra extra AoE spike when it comes to them looking for that big lineup of abilities.
And I like the build for Uther. He's going W build here. First off, it gives you decent wave clear to help out with Jaina. But secondly, whenever you go for warm-up combos, you kind of naturally start to group up a little bit. So he's able to follow up if any type of damage is hit on his teammates. And that way they continue their assault. Neon bringing in a couple of Qs here. He's going for the machine gun build. It looks like we'll see at level 7.
Oh yeah, all the machine gun builds, all the talents, it's very good. I like what you say about Uther though, because if you go like the old school piano Uther, the piano keyboard Uther, you're mostly focused on single targets still. Yeah. So I really like that you bring that up. That'll definitely help them here. Going on for a little bit of an attack on towards Kirova, and Johanna on the other side of this, going for Neon, might actually get the kill. Wow! Oh, Dana Tan doing very, very well at the front.
Bringing in the Johanna and showing what exactly he can pull off on that hero. Eriki now keeping up with the chase here, does get body bucked by Donatan, and Diablo is given the chance to actually mount up and walk away. Ragnaros does secure the shrine at the very top of the map. Can the rest of beGenius grab the shrine here at the bottom? It would appear no here, as Uther is just being too much of a bodyguard.
Donatan with the players at the front. That's great, because this is the first time in this series so far that beGenius has had a little bit of a lead. And not only that, but they've got control of the top shrine for a moment until Diablo rotates up, and then they've got control of the bottom shrine as well. They're forcing Synergy to play at their pace right now, and they get Dragon Knight before Diablo gets that shrine.
Nice job there, particularly by Donatan and also the Ragnaros. He was able to get Zeratul down to a quarter HP. He had to walk away. He couldn't stop that channel. Neon, unfortunately, from his earlier death, was not in position to slow it down because of Johanna showing up as well with the Condemned. So now we have the Dragon for beGenius. They rotate between the middle lane and the bottom lane, focusing these turrets, getting experience, and working their way towards level 10.
All right, Neon and Ice Cream just going to chip away at this. Very rarely does a Dragon Knight early on get too much done. But you mentioned it before yesterday, Trixler, that it's mostly the alternate pressure elsewhere away from the Dragon Knight that causes the damage.
Let's actually look at that pressure. Hang on here. Tank for the win, taking some damage. Nice Blizzard from Neon. Tank, though, playing well, is able to walk away. Ice Cream is playing with danger, but with Setsuka to show up with a heal, they are good to go, and they get a pickoff. Now, the alternate pressure that you were talking about was actually up here in the top lane. They pushed down the turrets. They got 2 of them here, which award them that level 10. However, with the great rotation for Synergy to put 3 people in the bottom lane, deal with that Dragon, and pick off Ragnaros, they got their own experience, and they're on their way to 10.
That might have looked a little weird for people watching at home as to why Ragnaros died there and stayed in when he was so low. I think basically what happened with that was he knew he was dead. Jaina hadn't used all her abilities. Blizzard could have killed him off. He was just looking for any little bits of extra damage, knowing that he was done for. So I think it's a smart move considering he resigned himself to his death.
Yeah, he was put in a very hard situation. Blizzard behind to cut off his exit route. Kona Cold was still up, which you mentioned up, and then you have the Q build. As long as Jaina keeps hitting him, she's going to keep slowing. And with Zeratul floating around, yeah, you're dead. I agree with you. He was going to die. The best thing there is to go for the trade. Unfortunately, Uther showed up. Now, we do have Divine Shield being selected here for Synergy. We have APOC, Void Prison, Ring of Frost, and Adaptation here.
All right, cool stuff. And then what do we have on the other side? Twilight Dream, Wave of Force, Sulfura Smash, Blessed Shield, and Commandeer Odin. I love commandeering things. It's what us Brits do.
And I love it as a heroic ability. Gives you lots of CP potential to back up with it. Yeah, it's all right. It backs up with the Dragon, really helps out. And also, you get to a scenario where you also get the invincible frames when you go into Odin form, but you also get the resistance that's naturally baked into it. So you become that much more tankier and can allow for your team to move forward and go into an engagement.
Yeah. As long as we have no more Boston Tea parties on our hands, I'm sure I will be fine here staying in America. But anyway, for now, it will be beGenius just putting on some pressure towards the top. They're propelling themselves towards at level 13. Pretty even in terms of structural integrity right now, but this shrine control now, because it's level 10, beGenius had an easier time before 10, but now, after 10, I'm scared that those ultimates, heroics could come into play.
We'll see if they will here as Donatan leads the charge for his team. All 5 members of beGenius is down in the corner to Dahaka, keeping his watchful eye on the bushes. He can show up at any point. All he's got to do, though, is just hold the top lane, grab the shrine, and make sure his team doesn't go for a hard engage. Iron Skin has been popped.
All right, so I'm just playing this quite slowly here. It's very important, again, we need to accentuate this. Synergy hits a massive power spike at 10 because everything does just line up well for them. beGenius, likewise, you know, they've got good heroic abilities, no doubt about that, but it's not quite as complementary to each other.
Yeah, and you see beGenius understanding that. The way they position right now is so spread out. It's one of the best ways you can deal with the Void Prison or a Ring of Frost. Oh, Void Prison does come in. Uther uses Divine Shield. APOC goes off. We actually only have one member isolated. We had 4 heroics used, but they get the takedown. Can beGenius turn it? Kirwa, though, overstepping slightly here, and Li Ming is taken out. Couldn't they get more?
Yeah, and that's all they need, really, from that kind of fight. That kind of composition. You blow up one, then you can potentially just take away the rest of them as it continues on. We can take a look once again at just how that synergized in a moment after all of this has gone down. Oh my god, Arakeen almost going, he gets out there. And you can see everything lineups just to blow up one member. From there, Kirva way out of position. If his support was there, he might get out, but he was not. He was dead.
Too many circles, and the Malfurion gets picked off. Kirwa now spawning. We'll be able to head back into the fight. Good news overall. Ragnaros went to the top lane and grabbed the temple, which allows for the shrine to be grabbed. The dragon's still up for the taking, but we do have Tychus being picked off in the bottom lane. Got to start being careful here.
That was kind of, I think that was another one of those deaths, kind of similar to the Ragnaros one before, where he kind of knew he was probably dead. So tried to dash forwards to do something about it. Tank for the win, though, under a little bit of pressure. Actually, once again, Danatan at the front, making a few plays there. Jaina will fall, and Kirva looking for, will not grab Zeratul.
But they are getting some takedowns here. Kirwa was able to take out that Jaina and now continues to do more sieging from afar. Power trying to keep up the aggression, but there's real no major damage available with Ice Cream being low on health. They should back up, re-get their mana, and re-get their health bars and the resources back into the fight. Dahaka should be the one to try and head somewhere and try and stop someone from grabbing the shrines here. In fact, there is 3 heading the top. If Dahaka sees this, he should try to burrow out. Actually, let's look at the top lane real quick. I think Dahaka is actually getting picked off by Li Ming and Tychus. There goes the Twilight Dream, but adaptation goes off anyways.
Yeah, that's not going to work out at all. That's so much healing that Hydra is able to get from that. Will back away for the moment. As much as this game is very, very even, I'm still loving how Danatan is playing that Johanna. He's constantly in people's face. He's constantly causing them problems, and has even picked up a kill here and there. But now, Ice Cream, I love saying it, is going to wail away at some of these towers, having gotten the Dragon Knight.
Interesting how a kill on Jaina has actually turned into a situation where Synergy now has the dragon, and it comes down to Dahaka, one not dying in the top, and delaying them long enough to where they try to get the kill instead of grabbing the shrine. Diablo snuck to the bottom, grabbed the Moonshine, and then the dragon was grabbed.
Will he use Sulfura Smash on this chase? There's the big question. Looks like Invulnerability comes out from Uther, Divine Shield, making sure he'll get away. He's mostly used the Divine Shield so far to just save himself.
Yeah, he's actually gotten Spell Shield as well at 13, just trying to put himself in a scenario where he's actually just being the frontline tank and taking a lot of the damage, and then just uses Divine Shield if they use any resources on them. I mean, to be honest, when you're a team and you're trying to get into a team fight, one of the main targets you want to kill is not the damage, you want to kill the support, because you can out-sustain them. And so Uther now being in a front line with Diablo and Dahaka, if you have to do the Divine Shield, why not? Your Jaina and your Zeratul has the ability to get away if Jaina positions well and Zeratul uses Blinks.
I think before 20, I can foresee a future where Divine Shield will be needed to save some of their squishier damage dealers. So Jaina before she has improved Ice Block at 20, for example. Zeratul if he gets locked down here or there. So Divine Shield can still be very strong, especially against something like Sulfura Smash.
Gotta agree with you. All right, 16-15. beGenius is in this game still, though. Even though we've had back and forth kills, in terms of infrastructure, our teams are dead even. Both teams have forts, a few turrets have fallen victim, but nothing into saying. Usually when you're 12 to 13 minutes in the game, you at least have a fort down by now, but these teams are so evenly matched.
Definitely, definitely. And once again, we will just see them taking this hard camp towards the bottom. That will push a little bit for them. It will be rivaled by an easy camp on that bottom lane, though, that can help clean that up a bit more swiftly here for beGenius.
I'm watching here, just the rotations. I'm watching Ragnaros actually in the top left hand Malfurion. Danatan does go in for the flank, and this is where Johanna excels, the flanks. He gets it. Divine Shield finally comes out on another target, though. Jaina turns around and slams and ice slams. Diablo looking for an engage, but really nothing's too available. For the most part, positioning is really great by beGenius.
We saw that Sulfura Smash come out. It actually hit Jaina, and then the Divine Shield hit her. So he didn't really do what we anticipated going on like a few minutes ago, but still, I mean, it denies any follow-up damage, I suppose.
It's absolutely mean Calamity, at least. He's got a Divine Shield. You are not going in. So a couple of heroics have been traded out for both teams, 3 and 1 here. The combo is still available for Synergy. They have Void Prison, they have Apocalypse, and they also have Ring of Frost. So they're looking for a fight here, while a few of the key heroics like Blessed Shield is down for beGenius.
And we we'll see Synergy here just mounting an assault on the front of the mid lane. Look at this, even, dead even in experience. We're in for a barn burner here.
Shrines activate in 4 seconds, which should be able to get us in a scenario where we actually break this even footing that both teams are on. Mercenary Cramps being grabbed in the top right. Synergy seems to be a little bit more active than beGenius in terms of mercenaries. There they go, finally getting them. And just having this pressure can aid you in your attempt to try and grab a shrine. Bottom shrine is now grabbed, the Haka's got the top, and now they sit and wait. Try to get tabs on where beGenius is and maybe get into an engagement.
They need to, beGenius needs to keep good eyes on where Zeratul is moving at any given time, because Void Prism can set up everything from that point on. And he's moving into the left-hand side here. This could be a little bit dangerous for them. He was looking to do damage on towards Kira to start things off. Power of Dream will move away down towards the bottom right-hand corner. Hydra is tanking up a lot of the damage in the mid. Commandeer Odin, bin pop tricks.
Okay, the engage continues here. Iron Skin finally being popped here by Johanna. Sir Ice Cream is just sitting on the outside trying to find a flank here on Kurwa. Tank for the win, does get some damage on Hydra, but Hydra backs away. The sustain is actually insane for both these teams when you think about it. Unstable is probably the easiest in terms of like the one that you want to pick off, but his positioning has been key and he has great support by his teammates.
It makes me think that Team Synergy just then almost wanted to... that's weird. Never mind.
He wants to support there, but yeah, you have no follow-up. But Neon couldn't even get in there.
If that little Void Prism moment hadn't happened down towards the bottom, I was thinking that they were trying to bait out something like Commandeer Odin to then go in with their heroics, because they didn't spend anything apart from adaptation in that previous fight. So maybe they could have looked for a wombo while Commandeer Odin was down, but yeah, that Void Prism usage there just kind of ruined things a little bit.
Yeah, the wombo combo won't be available for at least another 80 seconds. They still have APOC and they still have Ring of Frost. If they want to isolate somebody and pick them up, they have that potential, but a slight mistake here from Sir Ice Cream, one that you don't normally see. He's usually the great playmaker on this team for Synergy.
Looking for Sir Ice Cream again. Can't find him though. And tank
because he's invisible.
Yeah.
The continuous back and forth, though, in the bottom lane. Dahaka's doing the most right now. This is all he can do. He's pushing the top lane. Someone come deal with me. And that opens up scenarios for his teams to make a play, finally. Now, the Annotant does charge in. He's either condemned, which you can assume there is a flank on the way. Now, the burrow occurs. There is a possibility of a follow-up into Saphira's Smash, but Ragnar's not quite knowing where Dahaka went. When he went to the bush, didn't go for it.
Every time you see that kind of two-man having to deal with a Dahaka and Dahaka gets away and not killed, that's a win for Synergy. So, because they can be making other things happen on the map as 4 members. That being said, they're applying a lot of pressure up towards the top on that 4. That could be the first one that falls. Actually, it's just going to be trade for trade. So that will be fort for fort, considering their current map positions.
Yeah, right now the game has become less about the dragon and getting to 20. Let's just go ahead and go all out with our storm powers and start killing off forts. But the first fort of the game for both teams falls at 16 minutes and 35 seconds. We are making progress between our two teams. I do want to commend Synergy because we talked about their aggression so much and how they're in your face consistently. It feels like they've practiced holding back. They're not making dumb mistakes. They realize we can't get any engagements here. That Void Prison may have been a bit too hard, and I feel like the older Synergy would have tried to go for it.
Yeah. It kind of shows their versatility. They've definitely changed the pace from game to game, and they are holding their own very much so. beGenius, though, I feel has a far better chance in this game now, considering that they've got this far. They're trying to look to damage on Power of Dream. Void Prism completely whiffs there from Sir Ice Cream, as Kidova is in a bit of a sticky spot there between some of the damage dealers, and Harakine is going to end up falling, though. That's 1 kill going over to Synergy.
And Hydra keeping the chase here, looking to get Unstable. Unstable will use the Ice Block, and he is able to bolt away. There goes a Fierce Smash, but the Ice Block from Neon was absolutely clutch. Power at the same time does escape. Sepka is going to use Divine Shield on himself. Will he be able to get some heals off on his teammates? Power gets healed slightly there, but he's going to back anyways. There goes Uther. Neon in trouble. Kirwa going off here, getting away for force. Can he do anything else?
And meanwhile, all the while during that, Ragnaros killed Zeratul up towards the top. There was chaos in that fight going on. Now they will back off from one another. But my God, that was all over the place.
Yeah, I gotta commend both Unstable and Neon. Their ice blocks were absolutely clutch throughout the entire fight. The Void Prison, while missing, was actually effective because it did make Malfurion stay out of range from getting healed, so they were able to get the first pick off on Tychus. But from there, it just did not work out at all. That was such a chaotic fight for both teams. You can see how evenly they are matched in skill. Hydra, though, now on tank for the win. Here comes Neon to show up. Here is the Apocalypse. Nice job here. And now now Neon tries to turn it around. Ice Block goes off. Power in the back left, but they get picked off. 4 members for Synergy are not available on the map.
I like the new dinosaur that you just coined. That was...
Yeah, right. Epicalopter.
But no, Power of Dream falls as well. That's a full team wipe, despite Diablo coming back instantly because it's Diablo, Lord of Terror, yah. So now, that gives beGenius a good opportunity to get back themselves some major control in this game. They're going to take this Dragon Knight, put pressure on, and this is almost a 20-minute Dragon Knight, and that thing is strong.
That it is. Around the 17 mark, you start getting fear for all these things. They start doing a lot of damage. They're very robust, and now Arakeen will get the fort here in the middle, start moving down the bottom, and infrastructure starts to fall for Synergy. Now, the good news is they played the early to mid game just as well as beGenius, so they have some things in the way here, some speed bumps while they wait for their entire team to spawn.
And I like that it's been, for the Storm talent for Ragnaros, it is Submerge here because, you know, you can go heroic mode, but Submerge here is going to have so much more sustained potential in those team fights. And you can see that they've been aiming for people like Ragnaros in this team fight. Get that Submerge, give yourself more sustainability, and then cause problems for Team Synergy. Yeah,
we've talked about it. Heroic difficulty is so good when you're on a push to victory. But when you're in a scenario where you're not sure if you're going to get that win, Submerge is great. So great point there, Kalaris. Now we're going to keep clearing these minion waves in the bottom. The main objective is to keep the keeps alive, right? You don't want to have the catapult pressured in this entire thing. Especially, it's horrible on a lot of maps, but especially on Dragonshire, where you have these weird rotations where you have to take 5 units and move to a different shrine. Having catapults in another lane on the outside of the map is deadly. Yeah, definitely. You're going to have to be very careful about this. They're doing a great job of delaying. That's a good drag there from Hydra for the moment. Doesn't quite get the full duration, obviously, on the Dragon Knight, and that's going to be Void Prism as well. Apocalypse going to come in, and that's Submerge! A great Submerge there from Ragnaros to avoid that Apocalypse, and he will be able to just keep himself alive while Hydra is in the back lines here, trying to do some damage. Danatan in the thick of things at the front. That is going to be the nuke going down from that big red button here as the keep has fallen, and it looks like beGenius is going to look for more damage. Absolutely amazing coordination there by beGenius. 3 heroics put off and didn't do anything to anyone because of that Submerge. There's a pickoff on Jaina. Divine Shield comes out for Sepka, but it's not enough here. Jaina's one of the main damage dealers for this team. beGenius, looking hungry, starts to attack the core, knocking down the armor, 90% health falling. We do have a member fall for beGenius, though. Zeratul floating for more. Can he get on top of the Ragnaros in the back line? We'll see here. He goes in for the cleave, unstable, low on HP. He does fall, but Kirwa gets the resets, and that will be a dead core. We now have a tie series. What a final fight there. beGenius, that was a heavily sustained fight. Craziness, back and forth. beGenius tie it up. That was beautiful. That it was. In particular,